What if I told you the world map you've seen your entire life, in every classroom, every textbook, on the news, is a lie? Not a small one either. We're talking about a massive, centuries-old deception that has completely warped how you see the world. For generations, this single image has shaped our ideas about countries, continents, and power. And it's wrong. This isn't just about picky geography details. This is about a hidden story mapmakers have been telling us for 500 years. A story that makes the powerful look bigger and the vast look small. The world is not what it seems. Today, we're going to peel back the layers of this lie and show you the planet as it really is. And trust me, what you're about to see will change the way you look at everything. The basic problem is pretty simple. The Earth is a sphere, and a map is flat. Just try to flatten an orange peel without stretching or tearing it. You can't. It's impossible. So every flat map in existence is a distortion. But the one we all know, the one burned into our brains, is the Mercator projection. And its distortions are, to put it lightly, dramatic. Let's start with the most glaring example, what map nerds call the Greenland problem. On a Mercator map, Greenland looks absolutely enormous, roughly the same size as Africa, and that's the lie. In reality, Africa is 14 times larger than Greenland. You could fit the entire landmass of Greenland into Africa 14 times over. But it gets even crazier. Africa, the second largest continent on Earth, is the most tragically misrepresented place on the map. You could fit the United States, all of China, India, Japan, and most of Europe inside the real Africa. And you'd still have room left over, yet, on our standard map, this colossal continent looks deceptively average. And this distortion is everywhere. On the map, Alaska looks as big as Brazil. In reality, Brazil is almost 5 times larger. Scandinavia looks like it could swallow India, but in truth, India is 3 times the size of all the Scandinavian countries combined. The UK looks similar in size to Madagascar, but Madagascar is actually more than twice as big. For centuries, we've been staring at a funhouse mirror of our world, where some places are stretched to look important, and others are shrunk into the background. The real question is, why? To understand the lie, we need to go back to 1569. A Flemish cartographer named Gerardus Mercator created his famous map for a very specific reason, and it had nothing to do with being hung in a classroom. His map was a game-changing tool built for one group of people, sailors. See, before Mercator, navigating the open ocean was a total nightmare. The shortest path between 2 points on a globe is a curve, a great circle, which is incredibly hard for a ship to follow. Sailors needed to maintain a constant compass bearing. Mercator's genius was figuring out how to make a map where a straight line, any straight line, was a line of constant compass bearing. It's called a rum line. For the first time, a captain could just draw a straight line on a map, follow that bearing, and get where they were going. This was a massive breakthrough for navigation. Mercator even subtitled his map, "A New and Augmented Description of Earth Corrected for the Use of Sailors." He never ever intended it to be an accurate picture of land area. He knew the areas near the poles were grotesquely stretched. His map can't even show the poles because the distortion becomes infinite. He just made a specialized tool for a specific job. But here's the secret. That specialized tool escaped. This navigator's chart got printed in atlases, hung in schools, and eventually became the default for Google Maps and other web services. We took a sailor's tool and made it our universal picture of the world. In doing so, we inherited all its biases and completely forgot why it was made in the first place. The lie wasn't a conspiracy, it just became the truth. So, if the Mercator map is so wrong, what does the world actually look like? Well, the second you look beyond that one map, the planet completely transforms. To fix the size problem, mapmakers have tried hundreds of other designs. One of the most famous is the Gall-Peters projection, which made a lot of noise in the 1970s. This map shows the correct area for every country. Suddenly, Africa and South America reclaim their true massive size, while Europe and North America shrink back to their actual proportions. It's a shocking and powerful correction, but it has its own problems. To keep the areas right, the Gall-Peters map completely warps the shape of countries. Continents near the equator look like they're stretched out vertically, dripping down the page. Other designs, like the Robinson or the Winkle triple projection, are compromise maps. They try to find a sweet spot, allowing for a little bit of distortion in both size and shape to create something that just looks and feels more right. The world on these maps looks a bit rounder, a bit more balanced. But they're still compromises. They're still imperfect. And that's the real revelation here. There is no such thing as a perfect flat map. Every single one is a trade-off. A map can show true size or true shape or true distance, but it can never ever show all three at once. The Earth is a sphere. The only completely true representation of it is a globe. The lie isn't just the Mercator map, it's the idea that any flat map can tell the whole truth. At this point you might be thinking, okay, maps are weird, so what? Why does this actually matter? It matters because maps aren't just pieces of paper, they're political. They quietly shape our subconscious ideas about what's important, who has power, and where we fit in the world. Think about it. The Mercator projection systematically makes the global north, Europe and North America, look way bigger and more dominant than they really are. Meanwhile, Africa, South America, and other regions near the equator are visually shrunk. For centuries, during the height of colonialism, the world was shown a map where the European colonial powers looked unnaturally large, and the lands they colonized looked unnaturally small. You can't tell me that didn't have a psychological effect, reinforcing a view of the world with Europe at its center. And it's not just about size, it's about which way is up. Why is north at the top of the map? There's no law of physics that says it has to be, that's just a convention. For most of medieval history, European maps had east at the top, towards the rising sun in Jerusalem. In fact, that's where we get the word Orient. It comes from the Latin for east. Early Arab and Egyptian mapmakers often put south at the top, putting their world in the position of prominence. The north is up rule only became the standard when European explorers started using the magnetic compass. Since they were the ones doing most of the mapping and exploring during that era, their perspective became the default. Their viewpoint was literally put on top of the world. This map, this lie, isn't a neutral scientific document, it's a story, told with all the biases of its storytellers. The deceptions go even deeper than size and orientation. Mapmakers have been tucking secrets into their work for centuries. Have you ever heard of a paper town? It's a completely fake place, a phantom dot on the map, that cartographers would add on purpose as a copyright trap. If a rival company copied their map, the fake town would be the proof of plagiarism. One of the most famous is Agloe, New York, a fake town invented in the 1930s. But here's where it gets weird. The lie became real. Decades later, someone saw Agloe on a map, drove to that spot, and decided to build a general store there, calling it the Agloe General Store. A fake place, created to catch a thief, literally willed itself into existence. Maps also give us a false sense of certainty. We see a hard, clear border between two countries and we assume it's a fixed, solid reality. But countless borders are still disputed or vague. Geographers can't even agree on the exact boundary between Europe and Asia. Maps hide the messy, complicated political world behind a clean, simple, and often misleading picture. If learning about the lies hidden in our maps has changed how you see things, imagine what other truths are waiting to be uncovered. That's what we do here every week. So, if you want to keep questioning the world around you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. And while you're at it, click this video here on the left of the screen. It tells us about the importance of latitude and longitude. I'll see you all over there.